Now, this is less of a motivational speech and more of a didactic speech. I hope become helpful to you. Do you have any friends that are left-handed? Probably not, right? That's because only 10% of the population are actually left-handed. I mean, that comes out to only 785 million people. Think about that for a second. And this has been the situation for even when the world first started. I mean, a big misconception about left-handed people is that we tend to score higher on tests and are in gifted programs. But that is not scientifically correct. We don't always have the upper hand, as the chances of us forming brain disorders like schizophrenia are at a higher chance. I mean, this is not a choice for us, though, and it's just shaped by genes. In fact, science says that 40 genes come together and contribute to the type of handedness we have. Slightly more males and females are left-handed, as 61.5% are male, whereas 38.5% are female. But in between ages 1 to 3, you can look up to peers and also learn other handedness, which also contributes to ambidextrous people. You can even determine the type of hand that you will favor in the life by the way someone lays in the womb before they are born because of the hormone levels like androgen that you experience. For example, father is left-handed and the mother is right-handed. That gives you only a 17% chance of becoming left-handed. If your father and mother were right-handed, you'd only have a 10% chance. If your father was right-handed and your mother was left-handed, that gives you a 22% chance. And if your father and mother were left-handed, that gives you a 25% chance of becoming left-handed. Like I said earlier, this has been going on for a long time in history, and even in history, they say that the devil was considered left-handed. Now, that's not scientifically proven yet, so we have no idea. But with that being said, the left-handed was always taught to be the wrong or even evil way, as some may say, whereas the right-handed would just be the proper way. I mean, if you look at the definition of the word right, it says morally good, justified, or acceptable. All throughout time, right-handedness people have always ruled the world. They've always had a higher percentage of people in the population. If a teacher were to try and teach you the proper hand and try to switch your hand choice, it would cause some type of dyslexia. It seems as if we have talked about everything negative though so far, so let's try and switch it up. I mean, look at baseball, right? 50% of the top baseball players are left-handed, and that's why scouts are always trying to look for left-handed people. They have an advantage, and that's because when right-handed people are practicing, they are most likely practicing with a right-handed person. So when they experience a left-handed batter or pitcher in game, they will be confused and won't know how to pitch or bat. Now, if you wanted to change the sport, you could look at golf. 4 to 7% of top golfers are actually left-handed, which is a lot lower than baseball. Now, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, Morgan Freeman, Will Ferrell, Bill Clinton, Nikola Tesla, etc. have one thing in common, and that's that they are all left-handed. Now, speaking of Nikola Tesla and other inventors, the most inventions in society were shaped for right-handed people. I mean, that's not good, the fact that most inventions are kind of injuring many people that are left-handed. Left-handed people are going to be less successful in a purely cooperative world and would eventually just disappear from the population. But at the moment, we're still on this earth, and left-handedness is still considered a right genetic. And as we know, the more rare a trait is, the more valuable it is. Now, this is what we call negativity frequency dependent selection. Big name, right? Now, negative frequency dependent selection has been called the most powerful selective force that is maintaining balanced polymorphisms, which was according to Ayala and Campbell in 1974. And other people in later years. Now, also founded by Levin in 1988, it says that rare variants have a selective advantage specifically because of their rarity, while common variants are disadvantaged because of their commonness. When you are left-handed, you tend to use your right side of your brain, which is called brain lateralization, and the right side of your brain is more of the problem-solving and creativity side. But according to a study done in Georgetown, they state that In fact, left-handers hear slow changing sounds better. Many people wonder, is this all connected to right and left-sided brains? But it's all myth. And both left and right-handed people can use whatever side they want. Kind of. It's just that left-handed people are more right brain dominant, and left-handed people are just better at observing and remembering more detailed scenes. The left hand also has disadvantages, just like everything else though. One of its side effects is that the fact that you do tend to be a little bit more scared than someone else that's right-handed. A second disadvantage in being left-handed is that you tend to deal with your emotions a little bit more, not as good, worse, and have negative emotions. A third disadvantage is to be left-handed is that lefties are more likely to be embarrassed in situations. A final disadvantage, though, is that when you are writing, you smudge your hand. I mean, I don't know, for everyone that's left-handed, you know that, your hand becomes darker because you used to smudge your writing and everything. Now, you can't write in binders as well, and you can barely use scissors unless you buy left-handed scissors. Now, according to a 2007 article on Daily News, 2,500 left-handers die annually from using right-handed products. Even in history, some people were burned at the stakes just because they were left-handed. Now, we just covered a bunch of things that were negative, so let's try and be back on the positive side. Now, something a lot of people might not know is that the left-handed people actually have their own holiday. It was launched by a left-handers club in the UK in 1992. This day is called International Left-Handers Day and takes place on August 13th. Now, 1 in 4 Apollo astronauts were left-handed, which is 250% more lefties than the normal level of probability for that group. Studies show that lefties are just easier to sing underwater, and studies have found evidence linking left-handedness and intellectual creativity. Lefties are better drivers, according to the study from the Center for Handedness and the Zebra. The study looking at the driving habits and accident rates of 1,500 drivers over 10 years and found that the left-handed drivers had fewer accidents. In addition, an AA driving school with poll found 57% of lefties passed their driving test the first time, compared with 47% of righties. A study found that right-handers, on average, live to be 9 years older than left-handers. The highest rate of left-handedness can be found in North America, Australia, New Zealand, and Western Europe, whereas the lowest rates, between 4 and 6%, are found in Asia, Africa, and South America. Now, that was found by Tegna on 9 News. Now, we have that. Now, they remember events better than facts. This may have to do with the way lefties use their brains, but, like we said earlier, not proven correct, and it could be a myth. Now, when studying a couple hundred people, it was proven that left-handed people significantly are affected by post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD, more than right-handed people. After a brain injury or even strokes, left-handed people tend to recover faster and more efficiently. It's sort of like a type of protection from you, as you would have more bilateral distribution. Strokes are common, as there are around 200,000 U.S. cases per year, and are caused by damage to the brain as an interruption of its blood supply. Now, in conclusion, researchers have been searching for all the answers for hundreds of years. Now, and hundreds of universities have posted some type of answers about it. Now, I've introduced a plethora of facts in these past minutes, but this is far from the end of the left-handed era. We may never get to all of the true facts for what we are looking for, but we do know is no matter what hand you use, you will always have advantages and disadvantages in your lifetime. There will always be misconceptions about left-handed people, and every site seems to be a little bit biased. Just like Bill Gates said in a 60-minute interview, nothing truly has been explained yet.